Trevor Lawrence got paid, and the Jags, well, they got played. He's under siege right now. Now, one report in particular from, of course, an anonymous former NFL offensive coordinator, my favorite, said that Trevor Lawrence does not play the game with passion. Right? That's a problem. And despite the generous and undeserved second contract, he definitely plays like football is not a priority. So I wanted to play off this quote and let us discuss the question, the claim again that Trevor Lawrence doesn't play with enough passion in Jacksonville, that football is not a priority. What is your perspective on this? So I've got Nautical, Roto-Rooter, and Universal Studios. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to get the heebie-jeebies is what we're going to get. So number one. All right, this is a fair take. It's an accurate take. I agree with the premise of the take. Of course, this would not be an issue if Trevor Lawrence was good. However, he blows, right? Lawrence, even though he's not from Southern California, watching his mannerisms and his body language, he looks like a surfer bro. Like you'd expect to see him in Huntington Beach or Santa Monica or somewhere like that. It's Cowabunga, dude. Let's go hang 10. But in terms of football pedigree, he plays with zero emotion. There's no real emotion there. And by the way, everything is on the table, right? Trevor Lawrence has sucked at a time you cannot suck, but they are handcuffed to Trevor Lawrence, even though he is hot garbage. So at this point, when you think about Trevor Lawrence, right, and everything's being dissected, he's like a laboratory frog in a 7th grade science class, and even the hair. Now, when Trevor Lawrence was drafted out of Clemson, they said, well, his hair is like a field of wheat. Now, his hair is like a nest of snakes on top of his head here. It's bad. But in nautical terms, the number one overall pick is supposed to be rising. It's like the rising tide that lifts all the boats, right? You've heard that before. It's a nautical term. But Trevor Lawrence has changed that. He's the falling tide, which ends up sinking all ships, all of his teammates. There's no other way to say it. You keep expecting, in terms of like beauty, you expect an LA 10 to show up at quarterback. Trevor Lawrence, number one pick in the draft and all that. He's an LA 10. And instead, what do you get? You get a Toledo 2 is what you get. Trevor Lawrence, his long flowing locks have brought him a great amount of money. He actually has worse, in terms of passer rating, stats than Daniel Jones side by side, which is hard to do. And even with it being a results-based business, he doesn't have any. They still paid him. Furthermore, now we have a ghost entering the chat. Say what? Yeah, Trevor Lawrence did I don't know if you saw the clip, he did a 360-degree turn. He did a little do-si-do with no pressure, a dipsy-do, if you will, in Buffalo. And that clip has gone viral, poltergeist-like. Now, staying in Jacksonville, not only is Trevor Lawrence under attack, but also Doug Pederson. Now, Doug Pederson attempted to calm the fires, but he actually added more fuel to the fire. He's the coach in Jacksonville. Here's Doug Pederson saying, no more speeches. Take a listen.
If you want to be an elite football team, it's led from within, right? It's led by the players. And just listen, it's the speeches are done. The speeches are over. We don't need any more rah-rah stuff. It's just time to go play football, fix the mistakes, and do everything we can to play our best football this weekend.
He's rambling there at the end. But Doug Pederson saying the Jaguars do not need the rah-rah stuff. Go team for motivation after the 0-3 start. What do they need? So my advice, hiding out behind the microphones of FSR here is to call Roto Rooter, because that Jacksonville team right now is a clogged toilet, overflowing. And you are on the down slope, and that is not a good place to be. If you have a plumber, maybe you are a plumber, but if you know a plumber, my grandfather, may he rest in peace, was a plumber. There's an old plumber's expression that sums up Jacksonville best. Crap runs downhill. Crap runs downhill. Now, I cleaned that up for radio. I can't say what I want to say, but I cleaned it up. It's a poopy mess. No blocking, little tackling, sleepwalking. And Doug Pederson, now he was calling out the players in that soundbite. And the reason he is because he does not have the DNA to be a rah-rah coach. Doug Pederson was hired because he's boring. He was the antithesis of Urban Meyer. And so Doug Pederson, for better or worse, is milquetoast. That is what he is, right? He doesn't have much of a personality. He's not a great soundbite and all that. And Doug Pederson's been around the NFL forever. He knows he is going to be the fall guy because Lawrence is not going anywhere. Trevor Lawrence is going to be there. And so they'll get rid of the coach and bring another coach in to save Trevor Lawrence. All right, final point. So with the fall in Jacksonville at 0-3, Bill Belichick has entered the chat. His name has been floated for the Jacksonville job. Does that have any legs? So it's got legs, but it's not great. Belichick is looking for a job. We all know that. And there's only going to be, out of 32 jobs, probably 7 to 10 jobs open up every year. And so you can't be too picky. There are many teams higher up, though, on the wish list for Bill Belichick. For example, the Eagles, if they fall apart, right there, Philadelphia. The Giants, the Jets are on there because of location. You look at the I-95 corridor, and while it is true that Interstate 95 does go through Jacksonville, unfortunately, it is 1,200 plus miles away from Belichick's compound on Nantucket. So the advantage for Jacksonville, when they eventually fire Doug Pederson, if they want to hire Belichick, as they say it at Universal Studios, Bill Belichick would have final cut privilege. Like, he would be able to bring back the band, and no one's going to say no. You'd have Matt Patricia, the old Lions coach, as his defensive coordinator. Josh McDaniels would be the offensive coordinator. Joe Judge would coach special teams. And all of Belichick's merry men, all of his flunkies, can get gigs as he desperately tries to chase down Don Shula's record for wins.